Sound. Sound is an element of the fighting game genre, often left unappreciated, persisting as a rather minor feature of these games when compared to other much more easily recognizable elements. With graphics, characters, and gameplay mechanics at the forefront, sound unfortunately feels dwarfed in comparison. Those factors sell a game and what most tend to focus on. Nobody buys a game just because it was marketed on sound design after all. While these elements are incredibly important, sound is a far more crucial part of fighting games and their success than what one may be led to believe.
Feel the power!
Sound is powerful. Sound is immersive. Sound can make even the simplest of actions and maneuvers seem cool to pull off. It sells the impacts of moves, giving them life and energy. Visuals can be outstanding and are no doubt a significant component in selling the weight of every jab, kick, and grab, but without proper sound design, the game will begin to feel dull and lifeless. If you've ever tried to play a fighting game without sound, this may be a familiar feeling. There's a distinct air of emptiness when playing this way, and as a result, the action falls short and wouldn't quite live up to the title that is a fighting game. As a large part of the fun of these games is the impactful sounds that develop through your individual movement and attacks. The feeling that you, as a player, is currently controlling a superpowered character. A common example of this selling of impact is through the widely implemented just timing actions, with the most famous of these being the parry from Street Fighter Third Strike, where if a forward input is performed against an incoming attack within a short frame window, the character will perform a parry, negating all damage and block stun, allowing for a counter attack. But you probably already knew about this. Everyone here has seen Evo Moment 37, right? Now, while successfully pulling off this action is highly rewarding in its own right, it is that much more satisfying to pull off because of the unique sound effect that comes from it. Or take Junpei from Persona 4 Arena, where during his victory cry mode, he can land what are called clean hits if his bat moves connect at a specific distance. To indicate this, not only does text appear on screen, but noticeable ping sound is made, once again creating a distinct weight to the hit. Now imagine if the third strike parry sounded like this. Yay! Or Junpei's clean hits sounded like this. Wow. These would definitely be funny results, sure, but this ironic humor only lasts for so long before it wears off. It doesn't motivate the player to consistently be performing these actions. Take Guilty Gear Strive for example. As silly as it seems at first, the meaning you hit when landing, well, a counter hit, makes the game considerably more exciting and fun to play as it feels like your moves amount to big results, whether or not this is actually the case. I strongly believe that Guilty Gear Strive would be a less popular game without these sound effects helping to draw players into continuously playing the game. Visuals attract the crowd, but these smaller elements create the staying power. Like visuals, sound design and implementation needs to strike a fine balance in order to avoid being a cluttered, chaotic mess. Or if the screen is too full of particles and random effects, it becomes hard to properly register what exactly is happening on screen. Sound encounters this same problem. Part of the challenge of creating sound in fighting games is to keep the game from becoming a huge jumble of sounds, each vying for the player's attention. It has to strike a fine balance. In a genre where quick, moment-to-moment reactions can lead to winning or losing the round, audio cues are of utmost importance. due to reflexes being faster in response to audio over visuals. And circling back to my previous point of clean hits and parries, there are distinct sounds correlating to different actions, serving a purpose of providing the player the satisfying dopamine rush, but also letting the player react to what they just performed. This is the secret to those crazy hit confirms you see all the time on your Twitter timeline. And to further drive it in, listen to this set of sounds. I bet you can easily tell that not only are each of these sounds different from each other, but you can point out individually which one is related to a hit successfully connecting and an attack hitting a blocking opponent. These very details even allow for players like Blind Warrior Sven, who's completely blind, the ability to play Street Fighter V at a considerable level. Now, if you couldn't guess already, fighting games are loud, even if the right balance is found. And because of this, sound design in this genre goes unnoticed for most players, or rather, unappreciated. It's only when the pace slows down and a calming atmosphere becomes apparent where you can truly focus on each minute sound the game provides. Like when you're casually exploring each area in Metroid, or staring at the vast open landscape of Breath of the Wild. This is something that fighting games never have and, frankly, never will. This isn't why you play them after all. But I encourage you to stop and listen every once in a while. It doesn't have to be in a tournament where you're about to go 0-2. It can be in training mode or while watching replays, and from the running to the environment to the jumping to the jabs to the giant into whatever the hell this is. It all coalesces into a whole that's fast-paced and engaging. Alright, time to play some Melty.